We remember the 50s as a time after the war when Americans were so happy to get back to home and hearth and family. Mamie Eisenhower was the quintessential First Lady of those years.
She was born Mary Geneva Dowd in Boone, Iowa on November 14, 1896.
She had a pretty nice childhood. She was one of 4 daughters. Her father had done so well in the meatpacking industry that he was able to retire at 36.
He moved the family to Denver, and they spent their winters in Texas.
It was in San Antonio, Texas, that Mamie met a recent West Point graduate named Dwight Eisenhower.
Mamie Eisenhower's life radically transformed when she married Dwight Eisenhower. And you have to think to yourself, what was she thinking?
She came from a background of privilege with servants, and now she was suddenly in her husband's former bachelor quarters, so she needed to learn many things.
The strains of Mamie's nomadic lifestyle were made worse by the tragic loss of her young son to scarlet fever and Dwight's constant military travels.
There was even a period during World War II where Mamie didn't see her husband for 3 years, and that was incredibly isolating for her.
She sort of rode out the war with other Army wives at the Wardman Park Hotel in Washington. And she would work at the Red Cross and do some things at their canteen. But for the most part, she wrote to her husband every day and worried about him.
Dwight Eisenhower returned to the United States a national war hero and a popular choice to represent the Republican Party in the 1952 presidential election.
Here is General Dwight D. Eisenhower, a civilian now.
Mamie Eisenhower was quite involved in Ike's campaign in the sense that the handlers realized that women were voting in greater numbers than ever before.
She had a very positive effect on voters. She was just well liked.
Mamie became such a force in that presidential campaign, and it wasn't just I like Ike buttons anymore, it was I like Mamie too.
As evening returns come in, the trend is unmistakable. It's Eisenhower by a landslide.
The Eisenhowers moved into the White House in January of 1953. Mamie was right at home in her new role as First Lady.
Mamie Eisenhower was a 5-star general in the White House. At least that's how the staff described her. She ran a very tight ship.
She was demanding as the housekeeper, if you will, of the White House. But the other side of it was that she took a real, genuine personal interest in the people who served on the White House staff. She would send them birthday cards and gifts, and she would ask about people and their families.
Mamie's every-woman approach to the role of First Lady proved to be a refreshing change to the public.
She liked to say, Ike runs the country and I turn the lamb chops. She was very much a woman of the 50s. She had her pink dresses and she had her cute little cut bangs. It was as if any mother in America had shown up in the White House.
Mrs. Eisenhower was known for her frugality. She did scan the papers and look for coupons. Many people in the country were living on very strict budgets, so they could relate to that.
After 8 years in the White House, the Eisenhowers returned to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. It was their first permanent address.
They had hoped for a longer retirement, but President Eisenhower had a bad heart.
He died on March 28, 1969, at the age of 78.
You know, she remained very active, but she greatly missed Ike overall.
Mamie Eisenhower died on November 1st, 1979. She was 82 years old.
I think the fact that she was the last First Lady born in the 19th century serves as almost a dividing line because in many ways she was the last of an era.